God bless you. I'm Elect Lady Prophetess Owens, and welcome to another Elect Ladies Corner. Many times we struggle to get projects done or complete an assignment, whether it's a home improvement project, something personal, a wellness goal, or a work-related assignment. We sometimes feel like it's a fight to make it to the finish line. Obstacles that may challenge this include lack of discipline, commitment, clarity, or focus. And sometimes the problem is just the unknown because it's something we've never done before. So how do you stay committed when the journey or task seems so long or difficult and you lack clarity of how the goal could be accomplished? Well, this takes us to the story of Abraham, whom God called the father of many nations. When God called Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3, what God asked him to do seemed like an arduous task. God instructed Abraham to leave his country, his relatives, and his father's house. Abraham at that time lived with his father Terah, and to go to a land where he had never been before. Trusting God would show him the way. Then God said to Abraham, "I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse them. And all the families of the earth will be blessed through you." But what are obstacles that confronted Abraham to fulfill this task? I would say number one, it was his age. Abraham was 75 years old, so he's not a young man. Number two, his wife Sarah was 65 years old and had been barren all of her life. So how could Abraham be the father of many nations when he had no children? And Sarah was beyond the age of childbearing. Number three, God told Abraham to go to a place where he had never been before, but God doesn't tell him how he will work all this out. So what did Abraham do? He started by just obeying God's instructions. Verse 4a said, "So Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him." Now remember, you can never complete a task unless you start it. So as he continued his journey by following God, once he arrived at his destination, God assured Abraham and said in verse 7a, "Unto thy seed will I give this land." Abraham then responded by building an altar to commemorate the Lord's visit with him. But just because you're following God does not mean everything will be easy. But it does mean God will be with you. After Abraham came to Canaan, a severe famine took place. But God made a way to escape by sending Abraham to Egypt. But by the time Abraham left Egypt, Genesis chapter 13 verses 1 through 2 said, he was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. But later there was a strife between Abraham's servants and Lot's servants. So Abraham allowed Lot to choose whatever part of the land he wanted. And he and his family and servants, they all would move elsewhere. Sometimes it is necessary to move away from certain surroundings and people to not be distracted in accomplishing your task. Verses 14 through 17 said, "And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot had separated from him, Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered." Again, Abraham commemorated God's word by building an altar in Hebron. But after 11 long years had passed, Abraham, yet following God, But now he questioned him and said, "Lord, I am still childless, and the only one who can be an heir to me is now my dearest servant Eliezer." God responded to Abraham that Eliezer would not be his heir because his heir would come from his own body. So as we often do when situations get long, we tend to lean to our own understanding to fix things or speed the time up to make things happen. So Sarah came up with a carnal plan to allow her young maiden to have a surrogate child for her. Of course, that was a disaster then and is still affecting the world today. But 14 years later, God's word came to pass, and Abraham at the age of 100 and Sarah at the age of 90 brought forth their son Isaac. So no matter how long the journey, we must never lose our faith that God is able to perform what he said. Romans 4:21 said concerning Abraham, "And being fully persuaded that he, God, what he had promised, he was well able to perform." So if we don't give up on God, he will never give up on us, no matter how long the journey.